And in part, he said, our strategy is to continue to engage all the parties that are involved in finding an outcome to this conflict. I echoed to Lavrov what the president said, both the disappointment and frustration at the lack of progress in peace talks or in a path forward. We hope that that can change, and we're going to stay involved where we see opportunities to make a difference. He also said that the Russians shared some ideas that he said he would take back to the president. And of course, we will see what he says. The president is the guiding hand of these kinds of decisions. And other than that, of course, this is a meeting involved with diplomatic discussions, which I will not get into the details with.
Jen, are you able to tell us at all about this? What's new about these ideas or comments that is going to open a path?
What the secretary said was that he would bring the new ideas to the president. We didn't say that they were going to open a path for peace. So don't read into
Isn't that what you guys are trying to do?
Well, and that is in the process of the diplomacy that the secretary undertakes, that he's in a conversation with Lavrov as an example, conversations the president would have with Zelensky, the president of Ukraine as an example. These are things that are important to realize. They're not static events that stand on their own. They are part of a fluid dynamic of conversations and negotiations. We are, as the president has said and the secretary has said and engaged in, we'll speak with everyone, because every step makes a difference in the decision that you have to make in the end. And that's where we're at.
Why do you think Lavrov deserves a secretary-level meeting, given all the facts?
Well, again, a lot of people didn't think Putin should be talked with at all during the last administration. He wasn't talked to for 3 years. That's not a way that you can come to some kind of understanding or agreement or an effort to stop any carnage and the suffering. You've got to talk to everyone at any point when it comes to those who are involved in the situation. To say nothing of the leverage that we have with the ideas and the power of President Trump, and clearly the effectiveness of Secretary Rubio in the midst of this. At the same time, the escalating Russian attacks, the president's been clear, they're abhorrent.
About the importance of sanctions right now at this pivotal moment for Ukraine, given the president's stated impatience with what he saw as
President Trump's number one interest is to stop people from dying and the destruction that's ongoing every single day. He is going to do everything he can within his power to end this war and any other war he has a chance to end. We're going to continue to work at it. We understand that these things take time and patience, but obviously we are also frustrated that more progress has not been made. And I, again, would remind you that that's an opinion regarding the state of situation now in the midst of ongoing conversations that are conveyed publicly. And while I won't speak or characterize the Secretary's conversations with Lavrov or any other person, it's clear that this is part of that movement toward making decisions about what is necessary to stop this madness.
Message to the Russian foreign minister today, and what is the Trump administration's strategy now to end the Ukraine war?
Well, our strategy is to continue to engage all the parties that are involved in finding an outcome to this conflict. We will engage any time that we have an opportunity to do so, like we did today. I echoed what the president has said, both disappointment and frustration at the lack of progress in peace talks or in a path forward. So we'll continue to engage. We shared some ideas and comments, which I'll take back to Washington as early as this evening in terms of calls and reflected, and perhaps there's something to build on there. So But it was a frank conversation. It was an important one. We had it, and we talked about some other items as well and related to the war in Ukraine, but that was obviously the first and foremost topic that we discussed. And look, the president's been pretty clear. He's disappointed and frustrated that there's not been more flexibility on the Russian side to bring about an end to this conflict. We hope that can change. And we're going to continue to stay involved where we see opportunities to make a difference.
Without Mr. Lavrov,
yes.
yeah, without speaking for him, did you get the sense that they're moving towards flexibility? Or
yeah, I'm not going to characterize our conversation other than to tell you that I expressed what the president has said publicly, which is that we feel as if we've dedicated a lot of time and energy to this matter, and just not enough progress has been made. We need to see a roadmap moving forward about how this conflict can conclude. And then we shared some ideas about what that might look like, and obviously I'll take that back to the president here as early as this evening, and hopefully there's something that we can build on there, but we'll find out.
Secretary, a couple of months ago you said that what was necessary to end this war would be a conversation between President Trump and President Putin, but there have now been multiple phone calls between the two of them, and yet the war in Ukraine goes on. Does this speak to any weakness in terms of the president's ability to negotiate an end to this conflict, or why does it persist despite them having spoken?
Well, this is a war that the president inherited, right? He got elected and it had already been going on, and no progress had been made to that point towards peace of any kind. In fact, there had not even been any meetings between the Ukrainians and the Russians for quite some time. So while there's been some humanitarian exchanges made, obviously that's our goal here, is to end this war and any role we can play. So this is not a war that started under President Trump. It's a war that wouldn't have happened had he been president, but now it's here. And we'll continue to engage and do everything we can and hopefully make progress. As I said, and I've said repeatedly, look, we are, if we see an opportunity to make a difference in this, we're going to take it and we're going to pursue it. And that's what the president has done. And he deserves tremendous credit for having multiple phone calls with leaders from both countries and anybody else.
Just these ideas that were put on the table today, would you characterize them as new ideas from the Russian side that the Trump administration had not heard before?
Yes. Well, I think maybe, yes. I think it's a new and a different approach. Again, I wouldn't characterize it as something that guarantees a peace, but it's a concept that we'll take back to the president today and here as soon as I finish with you.
Are you willing now to put stronger sanctions on Russia?
Well, the president has said that that's an option that's available to him, both under existing authorities, but primarily if the Senate and the House can pass legislation that gives them the opportunity to do that. So we've been engaging with Congress on what that bill would look like. Obviously, the president needs flexibility on how those sanctions would be applied and when, because it gives them maximum leverage in any conversation and negotiation. So he has talked about that as being a real option, and now obviously we've been engaging with the Senate in particular over the last week on what that bill will look like, and the leaders of both chambers have said that they're prepared to begin to move forward on that. We've expressed this to the Russians weeks ago. We told them that the moment would come where something like this could happen, and we'll continue to express it because that's the reality.